Aether clones. Work in progresses. The Steam Workshop for Rivals of Aether is rife with filthy garbage. I may not be the hero you deserve, but I am the one Rivals needs. And now I have been officially sanctioned by the Rivals gods themselves to make it better. To, you know, pick characters and put them on a thing. So if you're not aware, if you look at the Steam Workshop right now, there's a little section called Adam's Picks. I am that Adam, Carra. And today we're gonna pick more. So today we're gonna be looking at some original characters. First one we're going to be looking at is Malo by Gick. He paved the way for everyone else. Malo is one of the earliest Rivals custom character OCs. And he's really cool, but I don't really like him. I know. Okay, let's explain before you unsubscribe. Let me explain and then you can unsubscribe. He has a really awesome idea, or a really cool mechanic, which is the bombs that he throws. You know, it's kind of like Snake's grenade, but it works a little bit differently. And I don't really like how it works. Really, my main issue is not what it is, but just the implementation of it. He has five different types of bombs, 5 different bombs. They replace his smashes, and that's what I don't like, because he can do them in the air, which means if you want to C-stick your aerials, you have to use tilt stick. That's my biggest problem. I just really am not a fan of having to use tilt stick. I don't know, why not just make the bombs a special? I can see kind of why they did this, because neutral special is how you select your bombs, and then the smashes are the directions you throw the bombs in. But I feel like this could be accomplished with a special button. Like, why not do it Shovel Knight style, where your taunt makes you choose the bombs, and that way I can just have my neutral be that, and have smash attacks, and more importantly, be able to C-stick my aerials without having to use tilt stick, which I hate. I hate it, and I hate you. My own personal biases aside, Malo is pretty well designed. Malo seems very big brain. I think he's very difficult to use, because I think at first you're gonna be like, I can't do anything, you just get stuff, because bombs take quite a bit of setup. What is really cool about them, the coolest thing about them, is that you can hit them, because you have a lot of control over where the bomb goes, which to me is all the more reason I don't really need the stick directions to throw the bombs, because of hitting them is the coolest part anyway. I feel like we can kind of you can get away with just a neutral B throw in those directions. Anyway, I'm back to complaining about the one thing. I know it's the whole point, guys. I get it. I know it's the whole reason, but I still don't like it. I think he's well designed. Everything works together. You have synergy and stage control with the bombs, and they can kill. Oh yeah, that is one thing that I think is weird with this character is his default bomb kills. I didn't do exclusive super duper testing, but I feel like the default bombs are a tad bit too strong. Not strong in like an overpowered sense, but strong in the sense that sometimes somebody just randomly dies from it, and that's just like not very satisfying. When you get a bomb kill, you know, you want it to be intentional, like an edge guard or something. So there's something that does bother me about just like the design of him. Like, he feels like a Captain Falcon with bombs. Like, there's something about him that's like, he's too fast. The way like his movement works doesn't, to me, mesh well with the bombs. Like, I wish, and maybe this is boring boomer Adam Carra talking, but I wish he was a bit slower and had like moves that synergize with getting bomb setups. I like the idea of you being able to hit the bombs. That is synergy, but I also would like a setup that allows me to zone so that then they can get hit with bombs. Like Sylvanos Fair, or a move that stuns them or something. Like, I think another zoning tool that's not the bombs would probably work really well with this character if they were slower. If you were to add this zoning tool and keep them currently, then that would be really annoying, because what this character kind of ends up becoming is a character that like throws bombs a bunch or just runs away, because there's a difference between zoning and just being an asshole. We're gonna change up my rating system. If you saw the Mario video, we're doing a little bit different thing than that. They are either overpowered, balanced, or underpowered. Simple as that. So with Malo, I'm giving him the balanced. I lean towards, especially in the beginning when he was first released, I feel like he was underpowered, but he's got quite a bit of depth to him. But the bat and the up air gives him like a lot more utility. Now more so than before, he's like in a better spot. But who cares about that? What you guys really want to know is my fun opinion. He gets an 8. Malo's pretty good. Acid Rainbows by Jaime. Hyuponia. This character, I don't really have too much to say about. Of course, that's what I say, and then I go on a really long tangent about Obama. This character is like one of the most straightforward characters, I think, on the list. I think something a lot of the people that make workshop characters, especially the good ones, are all very creative, and they all like really want to do weird shit. But this one, they're just fast, and they have one thing going for them. They have a cloud that they can poop out with a paintbrush. I really like the idea of the cloud. I wish the cloud did more. So like at the time of recording this, you poop out the cloud, and when you down B, the cloud down Bs. You can also hit it with fair to like, you have to hit it twice to make it down B, which is weird. That's like a lot of setup. I'd rather just be one hit. The thing is, down B is broken as fuck. But again, maybe it's been nerfed since then. I have no idea anymore. Everybody's making changes as I'm trying to write this. So I'll put down a pinned comment, and that way any of the developers can respond to it saying, hey, this isn't like that anymore. I've nerfed this or changed that or made this stronger or whatever. That way I'm free of responsibility. But anyway, down B, extremely broken, super strong, and like really not that punishable in a lot of situations. But I like the idea of it. I like what it does. I like the big, Pikachu Thunder thing. And I like the idea of the cloud also doing it. It just toned down, how strong it is. Acid rainbows can hit the cloud as well, but it like doesn't, I don't understand the purpose of hitting it besides, I guess, setting up where it's gonna be. But if you're gonna do that, you might as well just respawn the cloud. I would like the cloud to do more, like when you hit it, it becomes like a hitbox temporarily, so you can hit it into enemies or something. It seems like a very simple and small change that would do quite a bit. Besides the specials, which are fine. I think they all work well. All the normals are really good. This character's just fast, and the aerials just do stuff. Well, I think the aerials is where this character really shines. But this character just has like their normals and their specials, and while they don't get in the way of each other, they also don't really mix that much. As I mentioned before, I want more synergy for that. And kind of because of that, I don't know, this character just feels sorta, yeah. Acid Rainbows gets a 6. And then on top of that, because they're so fast and their down B is so broken, I'm gonna put this character in overpowered. Plippity plop. Pling plang pling. Up next is Gustav, the Phantom Musketeer. I forgot that a lot of these characters have some subtitle I don't give a fuck about. Gustav by Architas and Wish Dream. Gustav has one of the coolest gimmicks I've ever seen. There's a gun, and you can shoot the gun, but you have to reload it. And the reloading is something I really like because it gives like a rhythm to this character that prevents him from obviously just shooting a gun. So what's really great is that this character's specials all have synergy with each other. The way side special works is you throw the gun. It works essentially a lot like Duck Hunt's can. You can control the gun and it like bounces around. And if you've loaded it, it can shoot, and that's where the magic happens because it blasts off and kills anything in its path. And it's really satisfying to get a kill with that. And then just a little cherry on top, up special, you zippity zoop all the way over to it because good design. Or I don't know, it's kind of jank because you either like fly across the sky as apple pies, nothing can get in your way, or you're an idiot and you just die. Oh no. But yeah, this character, there's not too much to talk about because they're just so solid. Their normals all just work. I guess it would be cool, kind of like with Acid Rainbows, if there were some aerials that could interact with the gun, but like because the gun specials all work together in the first place, that's like I'm like satisfied with the amount of synergy. Anything more than that is just gonna hurt my brain. So what's great about that side special too, in addition to just being unique and creative, is I really like the way it controls space. That's something that's what makes platform fighters unique, and that's why I really like this mechanic a lot, is because of how you can control different parts of the stage. Just really works well to the strengths of a platform fighter. That's something that you couldn't really have in a traditional fighter. So all in all, this character is really well designed. I would plop them in right in the balanced category, and so I give Gustav a 9. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Next up, Rue by Architas and also Witch Dream. Wow, they getting around. This character might be the only time I ever say this, but I think Rue has too much depth. There's just so many strange ideas all happening at once that it feels like just like a bunch of ideas for different characters all just smashed into one character. I do like it. I also think this is to this character's detriment. I think this is what ultimately holds this character back. It's got a wall that bounces. It's got a weird orb thing that To this character's credit, they all do weird, cool things, and they definitely can work together, but it's like too much. You're asking too much of the player. It seems like a weird complaint, but like when you play this character, I think you'll immediately see, like, you can tell the differences. Just like, wow, this character's f***ing weird. To get comfortable with this character, I feel like it would take an unreasonable amount of time for someone like me, who, like, I got all these other custom characters to play. I don't got time to explore all the things about Rue, because this character lacks a lot of the conventions of like other platform fighting characters. And so while it is cool, I just don't have time to devote to this guy. This character would benefit if their normals worked a bit more normally. Right? You try to be like extremely experimental with the specials, and then you give the player something, you know, they can feel at home with the normals, or at least like the core group of normals, so that they at least have like a frame of reference of like, okay, I can use this character this way, so that they can then, basically that's like a foundation they can build upon to then learn the character's more eccentricities. But this character, it's like, I don't even know where to start with it, right? Like, what is good? What works? No clue. The recovery is jank. Like, there's nothing about this character that's easy. And I know I'm framing all of these things as a negative because in a way they are, but I don't want to like knock the person for being daring, for being as creative as possible. I think this character is easily the weirdest and most creative out of all the characters I've looked at, and maybe for a while even. It'd be more approachable if that were the case, with having one of the two sides, the normals or the specials, having one of them be more familiar. You could have a bunch of weirdo normals, but then have like standards, like a special that goes sideways and up. Every single aspect is weird. It's like this character was made by someone who's never played a Smash game, and yet it works though, and yet the character is cool. You know, I'll give him that. I love the wall. The wall is my favorite thing. Understanding the balance of this character is very difficult. If I had to guess, right, gun to my head, Dan Fernacey's pointing a gun to my head right now. I'd say this character is underpowered. They just take too much setup. They can't do things as fast as someone else, but I really don't know. This character, I feel like you have to just have a galaxy brain to use in the first place, even to just like work them on a fundamental level. But in terms of funness, I'd say an 8. I think the weirdness makes up for the fact that it's difficult to use. Next up, we have Ashe by Chowako Cartoons, which is a character that I want to like them more than I do. I want to root for this character. I really like the design. I have no like real issues with Little Mac, but like this character doesn't feel like a Little Mac that's cooler because it's rivals. It feels like a character that's like, I kind of wish they worked like Little Mac, which I never thought I'd be saying. There's just something about it. It's like really hard to identify like what exactly doesn't work. I think it's just a number of different things that all don't work, and they all just barely don't work, which is why it feels weird. And like, it just feels like something's missing from this character. I think the specials have a lot to do with it. I don't understand what side B is for besides recovery, and even for recovery, you can't wall jump out of it. You have to wait for it to end, so it's like really not that good as a recovery tool. The same goes with up B. It's not as big of an issue, but it does feel very strange to like have to wait for the move to end before you can wall jump with it. I don't get down B at all. I just don't understand it. Like, I feel like I'm doing something wrong when I use down B. Like, I just don't get it. Because if I do get it, it's pretty underwhelming. It's just like a move that kind of hits, but doesn't feel like I should be hitting with it. It's like I should just be using anything else, which is not a good sign. And hopefully I'm wrong. I really want to be wrong about this character, but I gotta say what Adam Carra, the hero, remember the hero that we don't deserve but need, or whatever. Her neutral B, I get that that's just like Little Max, but it won't work. It's not a good move, because you just jump on a platform and wait it out. I also even looked at her hitboxes, which I haven't done with most of the characters, but like with this character I was like, what is wrong? I don't understand. Is it me? It's me, not you. I'm sorry, Ashe. I looked at her hitboxes and they're all extremely small. It's not just that they're small, but a lot of them are like negatively disjointed by like a lot. They need to be bigger or active for longer, but like that alone won't solve it. It's like, that's the problem with Ashe. Just all these little things that start to add up. What do I like about this character? I like the movement. Movement feels really unique. It really feels like they nailed that aspect of it. And I really like the F smash. The F smash just like super fun. The little stun is just extremely satisfying. Yeah, this character I definitely will put in the underpowered in terms of balance, and gets a 6 in my fun opinion. It's still fun to move around, still fun to hit those F smashes, but they're really just not good enough to like compete with a lot of other characters in this game. All right, moving on to Jaime, created by The Slugger and Deadalicious. This character, I like kind of snuck in at the end because someone messaged me like, do this character. And I was like, oh, yeah. Jaime is very straightforward, but not in like a way that's too simple. So Jaime's main gimmick is just the arrow. You can charge it. Where this character gets really fun is the side B, which kind of works sort of like Mega Man's little sticky bomb. You stick them with an arrow, and then it will blast them from the side that you hit the arrow on, which I love, but it also is so jank. It is definitely a nightmare for the other player to attempt to DI it. It's hard to say what I would do to it, because it definitely feels like jank and like, especially on the receiving end, not as fun. But at the same time, like, what's one of the most unique things about this character, and I wouldn't want to get rid of it. I wouldn't want to neuter this character. I think this character does fall under the, hey, I don't really know what to do with it, so I'll just make them real fast. It definitely can reward just running, zipping away, and then just pip, 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 pip with the arrows, and that could be really annoying. I think I'd slow this character down a bit. That's like one of the issues of this character is the specials are cool, but there's just not much like real movement that's gained from like the arrow usage. And that's what you really want to see is, not to toot my own horn, but in the custom characters video I talked about, there's a number of different things you want your gimmicks, your mechanics to accomplish. Movement, I think, is one of the most important ones. And I think that's what separates like the truly good characters from just like the decent ones like Jaime. Like a good mechanic does it all. And I know that's such a, I don't know, unrealistic standard. It's a lot to ask for, but people do it. But Jaime does not. The arrows are cool though. I knew you'd forget about that. So I'd give this character a 7 in my fun opinion, and I'd say they're pretty balanced. Oh, and minus points for Sambert Dare. You didn't think I'd notice. It's a Sambert Dare. I don't care. You're gonna say in the comments, no, it's not a Sambert Dare. It's got 0.1 less knockback or whatever. I don't care. It's a Sambert Dare. It does the same thing. It functions in the same way, and it is exactly as boring.
Next level.
All right, and last but certainly not least, my favorite character out of all the ones I've shown you today, possibly my favorite character that I've actually seen in all the custom characters, is Palm, created by Ruby Knights, Halesy Music, Mocha Eli. Palm, the greatest character in the entire universe. I really like this character. It actually almost feels unfair to compare this character to like everyone I just talked about. She seriously could fit in as like one of the Rivals cast. Like that's how well designed this character is. Even more so than Guadua, who is in part designed by actual Rivals devs. Palm works better. So going back to my custom characters video, I broke down basically what a Rivals character's mechanics should do, and Palm's checks all the boxes. It does literally everything that I pointed out. So Palm's main mechanic is a peach float, which is that simple. That takes the stealing box. I said steal. The way Palm utilizes it, it makes you feel like, why hasn't a Rivals character had this peach float? Like it works so perfectly within this game. It fits. It doesn't feel out of place the way it's implemented. And so while you may be like, oh, they just stole peach float, Palm builds upon it. And that's what Rivals characters like essentially do, is you take like pre-existing mechanics and you add on to them, you reinvent them. Not to knock Smash, but I feel like Smash is just a mishmash of random ass ideas. Peach floats, not because it would work mechanically, but because she's got a dress and she floats in Mario 2, which, you know, is not a bad thing. It ends up, is a recipe for success. Smash does have cool design, but I feel like the reasoning for these design choices just work differently because we have the benefit of coming afterwards. The designers of Palm took a step back and said, okay, peach float, but what can we do more? What can we do to highlight the peach float? Like, how do we have like the synergy with the mechanics, other specials that do stuff to make it like a lot more useful than it already was? They picked a really good one. The peach float is a mechanic in and of itself that has a lot of depth, and so just adding more to it just makes a lot of sense. Her song field, I don't know what it's supposed to be called, but I'm calling it a song field. The way her song field works, her down special, is her float can float more. It allows what's normally just like a stall, she can then move vertically with it. So it makes her float even better within the song field, which allows greater punish game if your brain's big. My brain's not very big, so I couldn't really figure out what cool punish stuff to do. I did see a number of cool things on Twitter though, so there's definitely stuff possible there. There's definitely a lot of depth with just like the freedom of the movement. And on top of that, it's not just a cool punishing mechanic, it also works really well for recovery, which is the way I ended up using it. So like that right there is just like a nice tell of depth. When something can be utilized in more than one situation for completely different purposes, that's good design. Any issues with the character? Almost none. I would say her up air might be a tad bit too strong, a little overtuned, but even that is like a nitpick. I don't even know if that's really that big of an issue. The more I played, the more confirms I found into it. And again, the up air might have even been nerfed. And look at the comment down below and see if the up air got nerfed or not. I don't even know if it should be nerfed because I think it's balanced with the fact that Palm is slow. And I've kind of talked about this a little bit before, is I feel like a lot of custom characters use the crutch of being fast as like a shortcut to being fun. And while it is true that being fast is typically very fun, I feel like it's just too easy to do that. So to make a character that is slower, I think is pretty daring. It was a breath of fresh air after seeing like pretty much all the other characters are fast. And so because she's slower, you have to rely on what her central mechanic is. And that's just good design. This character just works. It's just, what do I even say? Why? I don't even need to be here. Where's this character in terms of their power scaling? I'd say they're pretty dang balanced. Like already, this is like how I felt them on launch, and this character has been getting updated and probably is even more balanced. I think this character gets a perfect 10. Wow. Oh my gosh. Honestly, I never thought I'd be giving a floaty character a perfect 10. The way this character works really makes me enjoy a floaty, which just, I know it's terrible. I know I'm gonna have to retire after this. I'm sorry, guys. Your Messiah, the hero that we all needed. I'm sorry. Adam's picks right there in the workshop. Every character I talked about today is in there, so you have a fast track to go and download them. Comment down below as always. Who else do you want to see me review? Remember to like and subscribe, because it really does help me. Or don't if you don't want to. That's okay too. No pressure, but please like and subscribe. Hit the bell. There's that bell. I've never hit the bell for anyone. Did you know that? There's not a single YouTube channel I've hit the bell for. But hey, if you want to hit it for me, that's cool. Thank you all for tuning in. See you on the flip-flop.